So what the hell is happening with Best Supporting Actress? Hi, it's Brian. This is the awards contender, and it's time for me to give you my early Oscar predictions for Best Supporting Actress. Here we go. So as I've mentioned before in this channel, Best Supporting Actress is one of my favorite categories at the Oscars year to year. It's a place where you can get some really interesting performances, some character actors, maybe not movies that are doing really well in other categories, but you can have that really amazing supporting performance stand out all throughout award season. What's really exciting about Best Supporting Actress coming into 2024 is that we really don't know much yet. For a while, it was like, oh, well, Lily Gladstone is going to steamroll that category for Killers of the Flower Moon. A few months ago, I think all of us thought she was winning this hands down, but kind of like how Michelle Williams last year went to lead actress for The Fabelmans, Lily Gladstone is also campaigning for lead actress for Killers of the Flower Moon. So that means supporting actress is really up for grabs right now. Let's talk about the 2 or 3 I think are pretty close to locks, and then all of the other contenders who are fighting it out to get into supporting actress at the 96th Academy Awards. So right now there is one performance I have seen that is definitely getting into Best Supporting Actress, and that's Da'Vine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers. Da'Vine Joy Randolph in this movie is breathtaking. It is a rich, complicated performance that I loved. I do think she is the frontrunner right now based on what I've seen, because she has a few moments in this film that completely knock you out. She is a grieving mother. Both her husband and her son have died, and she's just kind of going through the motions in her life, trying to find meaning. She's very funny and joyful in moments, but there's this one scene in a kitchen where she just starts crying, and it's not a very long scene, but it really stuck with me. Like, Da'Vine Joy Randolph finds all the right notes to this character. It is a brilliant performance. I would love to see her win a bunch of prizes next award season. I do think she is a lock to get into Best Supporting Actress. The Academy is going to love The Holdovers. Paul Giamatti, like, we're gonna have that conversation in an upcoming video. I'm a little scared. Like, I'm a little nervous about his chances. I'm pretty sure he can get in. Like, he's in like the 4th or 5th place slot right now. But The Holdovers is definitely getting into Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Supporting Actress for Da'Vine Joy Randolph. The other performance I think is pretty close to a lock is Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple. Now this one's kind of tricky because we haven't seen The Color Purple yet, and so it's hard to really feel confident about someone getting into the Academy Awards if nobody's seen it. If there's not early reviews, early praise. Now, it's possible, I don't think this is gonna happen, but it's possible The Color Purple opens Christmas week and nobody really likes it. For whatever reason, it kind of crashes and burns, and maybe it gets a couple nominations in tech categories, but it doesn't get anything in the top 8 categories, including Danielle Brooks. Like, we have to be emotionally prepared for that maybe happening. But I don't know, that would be shocking to me based on the trailers we've seen, that amazing cast. Like, even if the movie doesn't quite deliver at the height of where it could, like, I still feel like Danielle Brooks has a pretty good shot of getting into supporting actress based on the 1985 film. I mean, Sophia is such a complex character. We all know that Danielle Brooks is an amazing talent from Orange is the New Black, and the reviews of her playing Sophia on stage were really great. So I'm just like, man, this movie would have to be pretty bad for her not to at least get the nomination. So because I haven't seen the film yet, I'm not going to call this a 100% lock, but Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple feels right to me. Like, I feel like that's going to happen. So I'm putting her in my predictions. And then the third person I would say is very likely to get in is Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. I have loved Emily Blunt for decades, and I have been waiting for her first Oscar nomination. She's been deserving of an Oscar nod at least 3 times by now. I would say A Quiet Place in 2018. Like, she should have gotten in for that. She frickin' won the SAG award. and then didn't get nominated at the Academy Awards. So like we've just been waiting for that right film, that right performance to get her in, and Oppenheimer feels like the timing is right, especially with supporting actress so all over the place. Oppenheimer is one of the big commercial and critical hits of the year, and I do think there's going to be that talk of like, okay, it's time for Emily Blunt to get in. Now, I'm mixed about it because I don't know if you saw my review of Oppenheimer last July. My one big criticism of the movie was that I felt like the female characters in the film don't get enough time to shine. I felt like they were kind of flat at times, didn't have enough resonance in the narrative, and I felt like Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy had some really wonderful moments together, and I wanted more. I wanted to learn more about her character. I felt like for long stretches of the narrative, we don't see her. So I was like, we could have had more Emily Blunt. And now here I am predicting her to get an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Like, it feels a little weird to me. But still, even though she's not in as much as the movie as I would have liked, she's really great in what she's given to do. And there is that one scene in the interrogation room at the end of the film where she is fantastic. In terms of getting an Oscar nomination, Emily Blunt needed one moment in Oppenheimer to really grab our attention, and that is that scene. I feel like she's going to make it. Man, if they snub her again, it's like, I don't know what Emily Blunt has to do to get an Academy Award nomination. I mean, let's be honest, she's going to ride the coattails of Oppenheimer all the way to the end of award season, kind of like Amy Adams in Vice, Rachel McAdams in Spotlight, movies that the Academy really responds to, and even if the performance isn't like her best in her long career, she still makes it into supporting actress. I do think that's going to happen for Emily Blunt in 2024. Now, those are the three I feel pretty good are going to get in. When it comes to slots 4 and 5, right now in October, it kind of feels like throwing darts at a board. There are 7, 8 other people I'm going to talk about here who have pretty good shots of getting in. You could make the case for almost all of them. Like, we don't have any precursors to look at yet. We haven't gotten to the Golden Globe nominations. We'll see how things shake out in the weeks to come. But I've gone back and forth on this, guys. In slots 4 and 5 in the last 24, 48 hours, I have had 6 different names. Like, I've kind of gone back and forth. I thought, she's probably going to make it. I think about it for a day and I'm like, no, take her out. So I'm not going to say I'm super confident in who I'm predicting for the final 2 slots. It's just kind of how I feel in this moment, and I'm going to make my case. But before I get to the final 2 women I think are going to get in here, let's talk about all the major contenders we have right now for Best Supporting Actress. Juliette Binoche, for The Taste of Things, has shown up in some lists. Like, watch out for Juliette Binoche. They don't necessarily love her. She's only been nominated twice, and she won that first time around for The English Patient. It's been a while, but she is one of those respected actors in the industry. I could see her being a late-breaking Oscar nominee for Best Supporting Actress if the Academy just isn't super passionate about some of these people I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes. I could see Binoche getting in if the film gets into Best International Feature, maybe gets a surprise writing nomination or something. Like, that could happen. Another international pick could be Sandra Hüller for The Zone of Interest. I saw this film at the Telluride Film Festival. I have not stopped thinking about it. It is a haunting, very interesting movie. Now, the one thing I will say about this movie is I don't think you walk out saying, wow, the Sandra Hüller performance. Like, she's very grounded and real. It's a very natural performance. But she doesn't get any big emotional moments in The Zone of Interest the way she does in Anatomy of a Fall. I do think as we get closer to award season, Sandra Hüller is looking more and more likely of getting into Best Actress. I do think that's going to happen. Anatomy of a Fall is such a brilliant piece of filmmaking, and she is the heart and center of that thing. I do think the best chance she has of getting in for The Zone of Interest is just how great she is in Anatomy of a Fall, and it could be one of those things where they're looking for a 5th place nominee, and they're like, hey, what about Sandra Hüller? She's also good in The Zone of Interest. Let's give her a nod for that too. I would be surprised if that happens, if she gets into both. Like, I would be very surprised, but it is possible to be sure. I've seen Vanessa Kirby's name on some lists for Napoleon. I don't think Napoleon is going to get into the acting categories at the Oscars. Like, it's coming out in a few weeks. We just got a trailer finally. So I was like, okay, so this movie is happening. It's coming out Thanksgiving week. But I feel pretty strongly at this moment, if Napoleon gets into the Academy Awards, it's only going to be in the tech categories. Like, I don't see Napoleon getting into Best Picture, Best Director, sadly. I mean, I've talked about this before on the channel. Ridley Scott has never won an Oscar, and that's crazy. I mean, he's getting up there. He's in his mid-80s. It's like we only have so much time to give this guy an Academy Award. But I don't know. I just don't think Napoleon is going to do very well. That's the sense I have right now. I don't think it's getting into any acting categories. What about Viola Davis in Air? Kind of like how we don't know what's going to happen with The Color Purple because none of us has seen it. I don't think many of us know how well Air is going to do at the next award season. Like, it might be completely shut out when it comes to Golden Globes, SAG, Oscars. It's nominated for nothing. Like it's just completely ignored. That could happen. But then I'm also like, well, Air is a really good movie. I enjoyed it. It's going to be a good like screener movie for people at home in December and January. And it's got an amazing cast. I do feel like if there's one person in the movie who could get an Oscar nomination, it's Viola Davis. Like, she's got that amazing scene at the end on the phone. The scene where Matt Damon goes to her house and makes his case. Like, she's really good there too. Like, I could see Davis missing at Golden Globes and Critics' Choice, but she gets in at SAG, and then she shows up on Oscar nominations morning. I could see something like that happening, like where she doesn't get into all the precursors, and we're kind of doubting her all the way up until the last minute, and she makes it in. I mean, I'm still bummed she wasn't nominated for The Woman King. I would like to see her get in. I just feel like the movie came out too early in the year and it might not have enough traction to get Viola Davis that nomination. And then one performance that would be on my wish list to get in, I don't think it's going to happen, kind of like with Air. The movie came out very early in the year, and I just don't think outside of maybe some critics groups, it did just get into the Gotham Awards, so there's that. But Rachel McAdams in Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I thought she was wonderful in this movie. It's one of the better written mother roles I've seen in a movie in many years, and Rachel McAdams just runs with it. She is so funny and heartbreaking at times. Like, this is a great turn I would love to see the Academy recognize. I'm not feeling it right now as much as I would love to see her get in. Like, I'm going to cross my fingers. Like, you never know. Crazier things have happened. I just don't think that film is going to get into the Oscars as much as I would love to see it get into Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Supporting Actress for McAdams. I think that one just might be on our wish list for a while, and then the nominations at the precursor ceremonies come out, and we're like, okay, yeah, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret isn't happening. That would be very sad to me, but I do think that is the reality for that movie. One person I didn't think had a chance, and then the more I've thought about it in the week since, I'm like, Claire Foy in All of Us Strangers. Like, she might have more of a shot than I was predicting a few weeks ago. For a while I've been saying the only actor in the film who could maybe get in is Andrew Scott, because he does give, I think, the best performance in the movie, the one that really sticks with you. But Claire Foy does have some nice moments here and there in the movie, and she's very touching, very real, even in a narrative where the reality of her character is kind of up to your interpretation. I do think her being kind of a ghost in the film, like, that might hurt her chances. But she showed up in the Gotham Awards, and if All of Us Strangers is a movie everybody loves, and for whatever reason, it can't get in anywhere in the top 8 categories, some people might decide for that film, let's nominate Claire Foy. I don't know, I would definitely not predict her right now, but I'm not going to count her out either. Alright, now I have 6 more names to talk about, and these are the 6 names that have at one point been on my list of the 5 predictions. 6 names that in the last couple days I have toyed with, flipped around, changed out, put in. Like, these are 6 performances I feel like have a pretty good chance of getting in. Taraji P. Henson in The Color Purple I have been thinking about a lot. Like, if they nominate Danielle Brooks, might they also nominate Taraji P. Henson? They nominated both Margaret Avery and Oprah Winfrey for The Color Purple back in 1986, so we could see a repeat of that happening. The second trailer for The Color Purple spends a lot of time with Shug Avery, and Taraji P. Henson got that nomination many years ago for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Like, it's been a while. It would be really cool to see her get in again. And so this could happen. It'll all depend on how well the film is received overall. Like, if the movie is just received okay, I still think Danielle Brooks can make it in. If the film completely tanks, then now we're not so sure about that category. If the film is warmly received, is a big hit over the holidays, like, I do think Taraji P. Henson could get in as well as Danielle Brooks. Julianne Moore, May December, I don't know how well this movie is going to do at the Oscars. Like, it could show up nowhere. Like, we think it might get into a writing category, Best Supporting Actor for Charles Melton, and then you can never count out Natalie Portman. She has been nominated 3 times before. She won, of course, for Black Swan, and it's been a while since her nomination for Jackie, so we'll talk about her chances in Best Actress in the days to come. I have not seen May December yet, but many critics adore this film, and I feel like it's going to be weird if it's just completely ignored, a new Todd Haynes film with that amazing of a cast. So Julianne Moore in Best Supporting Actress, even if Portman misses, I feel like that could happen. Same thing with Nyad and Jodie Foster. I saw Nyad at Telluride, and there are some issues with the movie. Something Annette Bening is going to have to overcome is her character in the film is unlikable at times, and that might push her out of contention in the end, even though I think she gives a terrific performance in the movie. In some ways, I feel like Jodie Foster almost has a better chance of getting in than Annette Bening, because Best Actress right now is crazy stacked, whereas Supporting Actress is more open. Like, Julianne Moore and Jodie Foster are very well respected actors in the industry with many Oscar nominations behind them, including some wins. Neither one has been nominated in a long while, and they're both kind of like the second lead of their movies. I know that's the case for Nyad, and that's what I've heard for May December. Part of me thinks one of those two might get in. It might be Foster, it might be Moore. I'm not predicting either one right now, but I'm really close. And I just don't know if one of those gets in, which one it will be. So I'm kind of like, well, for now, I'm just going to push them both aside. But it wouldn't surprise me if one of them gets in on Oscar nominations morning. And then what about Rosamund Pike for Saltburn? One of my favorite films of the year. She is so amazing in this film. She's not in it for a while. She doesn't come into like 45, 50 minutes in, but she is so hilarious. 48 hours ago, I had her in my predictions. 24 hours ago, I had her. And I'm just like, I mean, do I really think Rosamund Pike is going to get an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress? I would love to see it happen. She would make my list. She is so fantastic in this movie in every way. What a spectacular performance. But I don't know, when I think about the reality of the situation, Saltburn might only get into like Best Cinematography, maybe Original Screenplay, which I predicted in a past video. Like, screenplay feels like it could happen. Rosamund Pike for Best Supporting Actress, the more I think about it, I'm like, that might be a performance that just comes and goes, that doesn't get any traction at all, even though I want it to. But if she does end up getting in, first off, I'm gonna be pissed that I didn't predict her here. But then second of all, I will be jumping up and down, so excited. Get ready for that live reaction video. All of these women, especially the last few I talked about, have a shot of getting into Supporting Actress, but there are 2 more names to talk about, and the more I think about it, I'm like, these might be the other 2. The first one is Penelope Cruz in Ferrari. I have not seen Ferrari yet. I have heard that the movie is just okay, but that Penelope Cruz is bringing it in the film, and that she's maybe the best thing about it. Here's the deal. The Academy loves Penelope Cruz, and they will nominate her for movies that don't really show up anywhere else. Voltaire, 9, Parallel Mothers. I mean, she got into Supporting Actress for 9. Many people, including myself, did not like that movie, but she still got in for that. And I feel like because they love Penelope Cruz, there is great respect for Michael Mann. Like, this might be one of those situations where there's not a lot of love for Ferrari. It only gets into a couple technical categories, but it also gets into supporting actress for Penelope Cruz. There's something about Cruz we adore, and when she's giving a great performance, she often gets into the Oscars. She has 4 nominations behind her, and she won for Vicky Cristina Barcelona. Like, she was the dark horse candidate for Parallel Mothers. That performance did not get into Golden Globes or Critics' Choice or SAG, if I'm remembering correctly. But I remember way back when I still predicted she would get the Oscar nomination, and it came through. I'm not feeling super confident about this, but I am going to call it right now that Penelope Cruz will get an Oscar nomination for Ferrari. And then the last name to discuss, who I think more and more does have a shot of getting into the Oscars. This is an actress so many of us love, who has never been Oscar nominated before. I think partly she will be riding the coattails of her very popular film, but she's also excellent in the movie and has one banger scene, one of the very best scenes in the entire film. And I don't know, I think she has a pretty good shot of getting into Golden Globes, maybe SAG, and I do think the Oscar nomination is possible. I'm not going to say she's got it in the bag by any means, but America Ferrera in Barbie. I have to be honest, when this film pops into my head here and there, it's not Margot Robbie I think about first. It's not Ryan Gosling. It's America Ferrera. Like, her performance in that film left a big impression on me. And it's not just that already famous scene where she goes off on that amazing monologue talking about the life of a woman. Like, her many scenes with her daughter earlier in the movie ring true. The way she deals with the insanity of the narrative, this real life human Barbie coming into her life and taking her to Barbie world. Like, every step of the way, America Ferrera is just so great in Barbie. And at the time in July, I was like, that is a terrific performance that is probably going to be ignored come award season. I just wasn't quite sure. But as the months go on, as supporting actress, feels like we could get a really cool kind of comedic performance in there. I do think Ryan Gosling is definitely getting into supporting actor for Barbie. Why not America Ferrera in supporting actress? I would say of my 5 predictions, this is the one I definitely feel least confident about. I mean, in some ways I'm like, are we giving the Academy too much credit? Are they really cool enough to nominate America Ferrera in Barbie? And I kind of go back and forth on it. I did take her name off my list for a time, and then I put it back on this morning. I mean, I'm just like, I don't know. This might be a performance that doesn't show up anywhere. And here I am in October saying, hey, what about America Ferrera? And then award season comes and goes, and we never even see her name nominated at the precursors, let alone the Oscars. That could happen, but I have always admired this actress going back to Real Women Have Curves and Ugly Betty, and she's been really good in so many TV projects and films, and she's just never gotten her due from the Academy. This would be the moment to recognize her for her performance as a whole and for that spectacular monologue she has in Barbie. Again, the confidence here is kind of low, but I'm also really excited at the possibilities for Best Supporting Actress. I would love to see these be the final 5 on Oscar nominations morning. My early predictions for Best Supporting Actress at the 96 Academy Awards are Divine Joy Randolph, The Holdovers, Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple, Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer, Penelope Cruz, Ferrari, and America Ferrera, Barbie. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below who you think is going to be nominated for Best Supporting Actress at the 96 Academy Awards. Do you agree with my picks, or do you think I have it all wrong? We'll see you next time at the Awards Contender.